Hello YouTube friend, back again with another video, another tier list if you will, of some of the best movie franchises of all times, another list of categories. I'll go through them in a second, but here, I hope you like the video, give it a thumbs up, all that jazz, comment, subscribe, all that and above. Well, let's get to it. This time we have 5 categories: all-time greats, classics, movies, franchises that are good overall, maybe just missing that little bit, or not every film is spectacular, but still very watchable. More good than bad. These are a lot of franchises that have been going on for a decade or a couple of decades or so, and they are more good than bad overall, but there are some definite stinkers in there as well. And then only truly one great entry. Obviously, these are franchises that have one movie that you see, and the others just are like tacked on, Hollywood ordered, no real necessary reason to watch them because the plot is bad or it's just not a good movie overall. And then you have the generic Hollywood trash. Obviously, the other franchises are just terrible all the way through. May anger some people with this, but let's get into it. And of course, what do you know? We have our first generic Hollywood trash with 50 Shades of Grey. Man, this movie series sucks. The whole series sucks. It came out of Twilight, and anything that you may come out of Twilight is going to be bad. And this is no exception. Every fucking movie in this series is terrible. The plot is all over the place. Just so bad. In about 20, 30 years ago, this kind of stuff would be X-rated. The fact that this got a wide release and people watched it and enjoyed it shows how far society has fallen. I mean, it's just sick. And if you're into this kind of thing, you're the problem with society. And next we have Alien vs. Predator. I think this is a classic franchise. Well, more good than bad, since there's only really been two movies in it, just the first Alien vs. Predator and the terrible sequel, Alien vs. Predator Requiem. I think it's more, well, maybe it should be an only one truly great entry, because the first one is truly awesome, and the second one is just so terrible, it just tainted the rest of the franchise, leaving no chance of there ever being a sequel, which is a shame, because both characters are, the alien and the predator are both so iconic, but yet they effed it up with the second one so bad. I think the second movie could have been bad if you could just see it. If it wasn't lit so poorly so that you couldn't see anything, there was why it failed in a big way. Next we have Alien, all-time great for sure. Well, maybe we'll put in classic because the first two movies are good. Well, the first one is a masterpiece, absolutely fantastic. The second one, good action movie, but in terms of being in the Alien universe, I just think it's a total downgrade to the first movie. And I know I've already angered a lot of people because a lot of people out there think the second one is better than the first. It's like, no, it's not. It's not. It's really not. And the third has its moments but fails because mainly of studio interference. And the fourth one is just, well, the fourth one is so bad, but you just have to laugh at it and enjoy it, even though it's not a lot of enjoyment to be had. Let's be honest. Alvin and the Chipmunks. Now this is made for kids, but I mean, if you were to show this to your kids, as they like, this is so generic. The Chipmunks are classic characters, but yet it's so derivative of this modern culture. It's just terrible. Just ran on too long. I think maybe you had to, and then it would have been fine. But it's like 4 or 5 of these things. They're all pretty much generic, just forgettable movies that even for kids, like there's better entertainment you can show your children than Alvin and the Chipmunks. That is for sure. And The Purge. I guess the first one it's not a bad movie, but it's it's an interesting premise. Well, maybe the first or the second, depending on who you ask, either the first or second one is the one to watch. I mean, the idea of this is ludicrous and would never happen, but in terms of movie, the idea of one night a year where everybody just gets to let out their aggression and kill whoever they want with no consequences is a cool concept. It's just they made like 4 or 5, and they really only needed one, to be honest. American Pie. I guess more good than bad. I don't think it's really a classic. I mean, there's some funny moments across these movies, but to be honest, it just went on way too long. I mean, there's so many directed DVD movies in this list that it's just like, why? Just why? Because eventually, after the first cast, or after the first three movies, then there's like American Pie Bandcamp, American Pie Gigolo, or something like that. It's just like, just watch the first three, and then you can find some enjoyment. The original cast is fine, but the rest of them after that are just the bad. Austin Powers is a classic franchise for sure. So funny, and still kind of holds up today. Sure, it's a total 90s movie. Both of them are. I don't really care for the third one all that much, but I think there's a lot of fans of all three of these, and probably will never get a fourth one. But if we did, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to it entirely. I think there's still just be nice to have Mike Myers have a career again. He's kind of fell off the earth after that terrible movie called The Love Guru. If you remember that, let me know in the comments. 'Cause I sure don't, but man, it was really bad. It really ruined his career. The Batman franchise, classic for sure. Now, I would assume this would encompass the whole Batman's, like Batman Forever, Batman Begins, and all three different franchises or all three different eras. I think there's definitely good ones all throughout the whole series. There's definitely some bad ones, but the overall majority of them are great and a good representation of the character. Depending on who you ask, I'd love to know who your favorite Batman is in the comments below. I mean, I think my favorite is still probably Michael Keaton, but Christian Bale is definitely up there, banging down on the door. I would just love the whole Christopher Nolan Batman franchise, but or series, but they're all good. For most of them are good, and it's just a great character. Even though Batman is a derivative of the Shadow, and there's no doubt about that. Tell me, someone please tell me that the Batman is not a derivative of the Shadow. Please, someone tell me in the comments below. Next we have National Treasure. More good than bad. I mean, we only got two movies. It would have been nice to have another movie in the franchise, to be honest. I think it would have worked really well, but it kind of fell apart. I guess we did get another one. It was that dreadful National Treasure series that came out last year. It's just awful. Forget it. Don't watch it. It's so stupid. I mean, they couldn't even get Nicolas Cage in a cameo. That's how bad it was. He wanted nothing to do with it. I'm sure they probably asked, but he just said, no, absolutely not. To be honest, I'll put this here above this one for sure. Blade Runner, all time great. The first one is one of the best movies ever made. Totally definitive in its genre. There's truly, really nothing like it. The whole backstory behind it is fascinating. And then you got that dreadful sequel. I'm just going to consider the sequel not part of this franchise because it just feels so different than the first one in every way. Or didn't even you really F that movie up, and then you had Ryan Gosling F that movie up as well. The first one is where you watch it. Just watch the first one. Just forget the sequel ever happened. I mean, for me, I like to think of it that it never existed because it's so poorly acted. It's full of lens flare and crap like that. It's just unnecessary. Just watch the first one. You'll enjoy it. It is great for any sci-fi fan or any person that loves good cinema. This is the one. I am not sure which cut is the best. I think they all have their goods and bads, but definitely watch one of them and you'll have a whole fun time for sure. Blade, more good than bad, I would say. The third one has its doubters for sure. I enjoy the third one as a guilty pleasure type of movie. The first one is fantastic. The second one is even better. I think the second one is definitely better than the first one, just in the way it throws different things at you with the different vampires and the bloodsuckers. It's just a fun series, and Wesley Snipes was probably the perfect actor. Um, Continue considering these movies as their own thing, or this is the Blade series you watch. Now, if that Disney MCU movie ever comes out, it's going to be trash. It just is so many problems. Just when you're considering Blade, consider these the ones to watch, and consider the new Disney MCU movie as its own thing. The whole bastardization as a character. Just don't watch it. Watch these instead for sure. The Conjuring. Now, the last couple movies in the franchise have fallen off for sure, but it has redefined horror in this day and age. It's a game changer. A lot of films have copied this premise, this family being haunted, ghost investigators coming in, and just lots of history, even though it's fake history involved. I mean, it's really changed the genre. Now, the first two are good. This third has its ups and downs. And then there's a lot of the spin-offs that are weird. I'm sure this whole franchise involves everything in the Conjuring universe. Has definitely brought way more good than bad. So it's definitely not more good than bad because compared to this category, there's like a few bumps in the road. As this one, there's more bumps in the road. But the Conjuring universe has changed cinema for sure, even though it's kind of running out of steam and gonna need some new ideas there, Hollywood. This whole trope of The Conjuring, the whole universe of it has run its course, but it'd be interesting to see what you're gonna do with said movies going forward. So I think there's a fourth Conjuring movie coming out, and there's a Nun 2 that came out that I haven't seen, but Conjuring is a good series overall. DC Universe. Man, I guess there's more good than bad. I mean, I don't want to put in only one truly great entry because I think there's definitely entries here that are good. It's just there's a lot more. Um, I don't know. That's really hard with this one. There's so many movies from so many different eras. I mean, you can go all the way back to like the Superman Brandon Routh movie, which has its moments, and then you got all the way to the Suicide Squad movies that are all terrible. Um, I guess more good than bad, just based on the earlier DC movies. Have a lot of or have some moments, but um, I don't know. It's really splitting between if there's more good or more bad in this one. I'll just leave it there for now. Deadpool is a fun movie. It's not an all-time great for sure, but Ryan Reynolds loved the character so much after the terrible X-Men Origins Wolverine movie. Ryan Reynolds came in, or just love this character. The first movie I think is better than the second one for sure, but it still has lots of great moments. It's a fun movies. Both of them are good. Just the second one has more bad than good, I think, to be honest. But the first one is truly fun and really interesting and really brings the character to life. Is this the Final Destination? I mean, to be honest, I guess there's more good than bad, but it really goes downhill after the third one. And the first one is cool just because it's a whole new concept, just bred out of a canceled X Files episode that never came to fruition. But it's still a fun series overall. But definitely more, it's trending towards the bad than good. Die Hard. Put that in the all time great just because the first one is really good, the second one, not so much. It's a great third one, a fourth one that can be entertaining at times. So maybe we'll put it in the classics. Not truly great because the fifth movie in this franchise is awful. Just again, it's one of those movies you just consider just only consider the first four in the series, and when somebody says want to watch or it's a good day to die hard or whatever it is, what movie is that? I don't know what you're talking about. You must be talking about a movie from a different parallel dimension that doesn't exist. Don't watch that. I'd rather watch the first one or the third one. Even the second one has its moments. Just don't watch the fifth one. The franchise up into that mystical fifth rendition is pretty darn good. Put that down here. No, put that there. Yeah, looks good. Dirty Harry, definitely all-time great series, all-time great character. Clint Eastwood at its best during the crime wave that was the 70s. This movie series could definitely not be made today, and if it was, it would be woke as hell. There's so many moments throughout this whole series that are great. Definitely some of the later ones aren't as good as the first two, but first here, awesome. Magnaforce, awesome. The Enforcer, great as well. The fourth one is it's really slow, but it still is a classic Dirty Harry feel. I haven't seen Deadpool yet, but overall, this series is just classic. Clint Eastwood at his best at a time where only these movies could be made in the 70s when such a crime wave was happening across our cities. And now, maybe it could be made today, just not by modern Hollywood. If there were some true lovers of Dirty Harry that actually understood what it stood for, could make this movie, but Hollywood as a whole putting its dirty mitts on Dirty Harry today would be a disaster for sure. And Clint Eastwood, they probably couldn't make it if or as long as Clint Eastwood is alive. Which stay going, sir. You are a great and true American, and I love your movies. And Dirty Harry is definitely one of those up there. Divergent. I think I saw the first one. This is so forgettable, so generic. Just your classic teen book movie turned into a big franchise that just failed. It lost a lot of money. Just bloated, overly long, just uninteresting. Just just a derivative of many of the other teen books that turned into movies. Just completely forgettable. Evil Dead is definitely up there. It's just a classic horror feel with great practical effects. Sam Raimi. Oh, I love these movies. Even the fourth, the remake, is good as well. I haven't seen Evil Dead Rise, but I heard that is great. Bruce Campbell is amazing. His loud, cowardly screams, the blood, the guts, everywhere. The practical effects are fantastic. I think well, to be honest, let's put this up here because I think every movie in this franchise has been good to great, and there's just nothing like it. And man, Sam Raimi really got started with these sets of movies, and it's really not hard to see why. He's fantastic. Expendables, definitely more good than bad. Definitely a classic action series for sure. I don't love it as much as a lot of the other action series out there, but has lots of great moments, or lots of action heroes of the past. I still feel like they could have gone a lot farther with these movies, but it still brings back that feel of the 80s. These movies, all three of them, I haven't seen the fourth one, but I heard it's fine, I guess. But just so many stars, they all work together. It's just classic action series through and through. And we have Fast and the Furious. Definitely more good than bad. Some of the more recent movies have fallen off, and there's still a couple in between before then that weren't that great. But it's amazing. Again, I've said this before, how this franchise turned from streetcar racing or some smuggling and yeah, just more racing to the world traveling series that has become with so many different big stars. It's made so many stars: Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, The Rock rejuvenated with number five. It's just a great franchise. It's just amazing where it came from to what it is now. It's so fun. I love the series still, and they're just fun movies to watch and enjoy. You don't really have to think that much about them because they're really crazy and insane, but they're just fun to watch, and you just enjoy your popcorn and just have a blast. Um, man, yeah, we'll put this above this one, yes. Yeah, we'll put this back here. Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't want to put this in only truly great one great entry, but to be honest, I think the first one is good. The second one has, or is pretty good too. Then the third, the fourth, the fifth one, they start getting so weird. The remake is not that great. It's really terrible. It is dangerously close to being put into only one truly great entry because the second one I like a lot, and the first one definitely has its moments as well, but after that it just goes downhill. Although the third one has the awesome Dream Warrior song by Dokken, which is fantastic and a great addition to that soundtrack, but man, yeah, it really goes downhill, to be honest. Halloween. Yeah, more good than bad. Classic franchise through and through. The first one is a genre defying masterpiece. The second one is a great sequel. The third one is just dreadful. The fourth one is pretty bad too. The fifth one is god awful. The sixth is terrible. Halloween H2O is fine. And then you have Resurrection, which is bad too. And then you have the remakes or the sequel series of like from the past couple of years. The first one, good. Second one, definitely has its moments, or has some great kills. And the third one is Halloween Ends is, boy, what a way, what a movie to have called Halloween Ends with such a fart of a movie. Yeah, definitely, there's, man, I should have put another category in between more good and bad because the first two are good, and then the rest is just a big, big, big bag of mess to terrible. Silence of the Lambs is a classic horror franchise for sure. First one is really good. Or the last great horror movie to win Best Picture. The Hannibal, the second movie Hannibal, is laughably bad with the brain exposed and the eating with the fork. It's just weird and ridiculous. Red Dragon is really good as well. And overall, yeah, I'd say it's still a classic just because the first one is so great. The movie is more about Buffalo Bill than Hannibal, but it's like people talks about Hannibal Lecter, but it's like Buffalo Bill is the real villain, the real true evil of that first movie. But it's just like talk about Hannibal the cannibal. It's like no, it's Buffalo Bill. It's a real killer. But overall, franchise is good. Good horror, good scares, good thrills for sure. It's a very suspenseful and thought-provoking movies as well. Harry Potter is definitely a classic for sure. Can't put it in all-time great, but I'll put it right here. Put Silence of the Lambs up around here. But yeah, Harry Potter, great. I love the 3 through 7 the most. The first two are just kind of childish and not the greatest adaptations of the first two books, to be honest. But they're all have their moments. They're all magical. Definitely, it was a great time for this to come out. It came directly after 9/11. Total escapism. Really brought in a lot of money because made people forget how terrible the world is, and honestly still is today. It's a good reminder of how magical books and movies can be, and it's just a good movie series. Although I think its impact and just like need for this like to be the book series to read, it's like there's other books to read as well. Read Harry Potter, but there's more books than just Harry Potter, and frankly, there's still better books than Harry Potter out there as well. Hellboy. I think the first two movies are good, and that third one is just again another one of those movies that you just forget about. First two are good. I the first one is always on streaming and I watch it a lot. The second one is never on streaming, but it is a really good sequel. The Golden Army as back to school. Ron Perlman was a great Hellboy. Just so a lot of the great characters brings the Hellboy comic to life. It's just a fun movie series and I enjoy it a lot. And it's just a shame what happened to the third one. The David Harbour one is just balls, to be honest. Hunger Games, man, the first one is pretty decent, and the second one definitely has its moments, but the third The Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 are just so boring. So, so boring. And then you have that new one that just came out with Rachel Zegler who just destroyed that series. Boy, don't watch the new Hunger Game movies. It looks so bad. The first one was fine, but to be honest, it's really watching it. I When I first watched these movies, I thought they were all fine. Then years later, when I watch it, it's really hard to sit through. It's really cliched, really generic, and it's just it made Jennifer Lawrence star, but she's so generic and cliche now. She's just her only role she ever plays is crazy and nuts, and she really lost it after having a great movie with Winter's Bone, and then Hunger Games. It's just yeah. The series overall really only has one movie to watch. Maybe the second one has its moments as well, but yeah. Glass, to be honest, I haven't seen Glass. Unbreakable is really good. We'll put it up more good than bad. Yeah, we'll put that there. But yeah, Glass, the whole Glass series, Unbreakable is good. Split has its moments as well. I haven't seen Glass to be honest, but I've heard it's pretty decent. It's just a weird series that I have never really gotten into all that much. But the Unbreakable is really good though. Can you really call this a franchise? There's really only been two movies, and they're widely um, ranging in greatness. To be honest, the first one good, second one just really derivative and just it's a sequel that really never needed to be made. Well, yeah, we'll just put this in only one truly great entry, but it is a good first movie, really fun. Crappy, or it is kind of a crappy 90s movie, but it's fun and it has a great speech by Jeff Daniels. Or, yeah, Jeff Daniels. It's a fun movie overall, but the sequel is just, yeah, meh. We'll put Indiana Jones an all time great. Quintessential action series. First three movies are all time classics. The fourth one has its moments, but is really, really bad at times. And then you have the Dial of Destiny, which I've not seen and probably don't plan on seeing it because they've destroyed it by trying to make Indiana Jones into a woman. No reason to do that. Just how or Disney being Disney and destroying classic franchises once again. There's really not much more to say about it because the first three movies speak for themselves. Four has its moments, and the fifth one is just not gonna watch that. Insidious. We'll put this in more good than bad. Fun movie overall. First one good, second one good as well. The third one just slowly goes downhill. The fourth one, and then I haven't seen the newest one that came out, but overall it's a fun series. It hasn't changed the genre like The Conjuring. I feel like Insidious is kind of a neat idea that the house is not the one thing that's haunted, but the child that's haunted. I mean, that's an interesting concept, but it just kind of went downhill after the first two, and just weird off into a total different dimension, to be honest. Uh, James Bond is definitely a classic series for sure. Has its goods, has its really bads, and has its truly great ones. Casino Royale, Goldfinger, To Live and Let Die is good. And some of the more later ones as well. Skyfall is really good. Now the new James Bond movie, I haven't covered it, I haven't reviewed it here on the channel, but tried to watch it. Couldn't really get into it, to be honest. But this one, the whole series is classic movies that sadly any future movies should just be disregarded. Just watch the classic ones, the good ones with Daniel Craig, and the ones before. Just skip out on anything that is referred to as really No Time to Die. You can watch it, but it's just really forgettable. And then anything after No Time to Die is just forget it. It's not worth it. Disney is going to change it beyond recognition, and it makes me so angry. Really does. It's another reason why you gate your you mend your gates in terms of your fandoms. Don't let people change them because they will if they get the reins. The Bourne Identity is a classic action franchise that just has never really done anything for me. I know a lot of people love it, but to me it's just kind of, they're fun, they're fine, but nothing really spectacular overall, to be honest. Johnny English is just, I don't know. I can't say it's truly great. I think it's just really forgettable, to be honest. 21 Jump Street is, uh, I guess more good than bad. Just both movies really aren't the greatest, but they have their moments. But in terms of a franchise, it's a funny franchise that has this really weird moments. We haven't had a third entry, which maybe we will someday, but the first two are fine, and they have their moments, they have their downs, but enjoy the franchise for what they are. Jurassic Park is definitely a classic. I love the first one. The second one is good as well. No matter what people say to me, I enjoy the second one a lot. The third one is just forgettable. And the fourth one, or the Jurassic World series, has their moments as well. But overall, not great, to be honest with you. Yeah, but that first truly great movie in Jurassic Park is, yeah, it's just a classic series that has gone downhill, sadly. Kill Bill, I'm just gonna say I don't like Kill Bill, to be honest. I don't like Quentin Tarantino. I don't think he's a great director. It's just, yeah. Kingsman, um, yeah, only one truly great one. The first one is really good. The second one is weird. The the Kingsman spin-off is just, I haven't seen it, but really not interested in it. Just feels tacked on and unnecessary. But the first one really is good with some really weird moments that I really don't want to think about because they're just, yeah, especially the ending when he saves the chick and then she wants him to do her in the butt. It's just like, why, why, why? It's not necessary at all. Olympus Has Fallen, just generic, forgettable, not really interested. The Mummy, I love the sequel or the remake series. They're really fun. The first one, fantastic. Second one is good, but it has some really slow parts. The Dragon Emperor one is fine. I wish we could have gotten Rachel Weisz to be in the movie, though she was pregnant at the time, so that was unfortunate. But good classic series, and it's a really good remake of a classic monster movie franchise from the 30s, which are also really great. Night at the Museum, I know it has its fans, but I don't know. I thought the first one was really ill me, truly good one. The other two are just kind of forgettable. Ice Age, mm, I'll put this in more good than bad. I enjoy the Ice Age series. It's a good kids franchise to show to your children. It's fun. It has its moments. It's really funny at times. Ray Romano, Dennis Leary, that John Leguizamo is just kind of dumb, but good animation. Although it has dripped off in quality in the last couple years for sure. Then you have Lethal Weapon, which is definitely a classic franchise. First movie, great. Second movie, great. Third one definitely has its moments for sure. The fourth one is just forgettable. I heard there's a fifth one coming out, which I've not seen. Which, well, obviously hasn't come out yet, so maybe I'll be looking forward to that. It'll be nice to see Mel Gibson again. Hasn't been in Hollywood a lot lately because because he believes certain things, and Hollywood doesn't like those certain beliefs. Let's be honest. But yeah, no, actually, I'll put him in all-time great. Quintessential action series for sure. Definitely a great franchise that I love dearly for sure. Maze Runner, just the first one was fine. Then as they go on, but the second and third it just goes downhill and gets really weird. Chronicles of Narnia. First movie is truly fun. The second one definitely has its moments, and the Voyage of the Dawn Treader is just again forgettable, and it's a real shame that this series didn't continue going further with the Silver Chair and the Last Battle, which is fantastic as a book. Read the series, and then hopefully someday we'll get a new series of Chronicles of Narnia. I think the Chronicles of Narnia would work great as a series. Hopefully it's not a Netflix series, but yeah, Chronicles of Narnia would work great as a series for sure. More so as films, to be honest. Lots to go through, lots of theology to go through. That just there wasn't quite enough time to tackle everything in the movies, to be honest, and that's where they kind of failed. But as a series, it could really work. The Godfather. What can I say? Two of the greatest movies ever, in a movie that a lot of people want to forget. It's still definitely all time great, all time performances. So many actors got their big start with this, and it's just a classic in every sense of the imagination. And those first two movies are right near the top for best movies ever made, and I really can't fault anybody for thinking them because I agree with that wholeheartedly. The Transporter, um, more good than bad, but the first one good. The second one is definitely the best one, to be honest. The third one is fine, but kind of forgettable. To be honest, I fell asleep during the third one, and the one with Ed Screen is just kind of. Yeah, I'll put glass down here because I just don't know much about it. But yeah, the Transporter overall is a fun action series. Good start for Jason Statham, and yeah, it's just fun overall. But it trails off like a lot of the franchises on here. Okay, I'm going to put Jaws down here simply because there's really only true one great one, and that's the first one. But it's so iconic that it should be an all time. It should be an all-time great. But the second, the third, and the fourth one are so terrible, it really brings it down. So there's only one truly great entry, a genre definer, so so big when it came out, scared a lot of people. But it's really the first one is really what we watch. I have an affinity for the second one. It's a decent continuation of the first one, but the third and the fourth one are just so awful, so awful. The Exorcist, great all time. It's a classic. The first one is good. Second one is bad. The third one really has lots of great moments, and the sequel is so maybe we'll put it in more good than bad, right near the top, because the first one is good and the third one is really good as well. But the second one and that god awful sequel that has come out, so woke, so terrible, just so forgettable. Yeah, more good than bad. Mad Max is a classic franchise. There's that I haven't gotten really into. I mean, the first one is good. The second one was good for its time, but has been subsumed by Mad Max Fury Road. And the third one is definitely one of the best in the franchise, but everybody seems to forget about it. But they're all really good. Definitely classics. Definitely brought Mel Gibson to Hollywood and made him a star. They're just good stories, and George Miller is a good director. Madagascar. The first one is really the only truly good one. Um, yeah, Madagascar. Just not a lot of things to say. Just kind of, it's good for your kids, just not for me anymore, to be honest. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's really only why I don't want to watch the first one. I mean, the ones that come after have been good to really bad, but the first one is fun just to watch it, just to see what it's about. But then more or less the rest in the series are just general repetitions of the first movie. To be honest, The Matrix is the first one is just a truly definer for when it came out, but it's aged really poorly, and yeah. just not a lot to say about the Matrix. I've lost a lot of liking for it, to be honest. The MCU definitely put in the all-time grave. Definitely because of a handful that are so good. It makes you forget about a lot of the other ones, but they all lead up to something. Just some of the movies in there weren't really necessary. Really never needed to make Captain Marvel after what has happened with that series. But the overall MCU is so fantastic, and it's just so sad what it has become. It's just they made their money. Now they can just wokeify everything and just ruin what was so good. It's a real shame. Men in Black, more good than bad. Well, no, we'll only put in the one truly great one. Yeah, we'll do some arranging. But Men in Black, the first one is really good. The second one is really a downfall. The third one is just it's fine, and the fourth one is just Men in Black International is just didn't need to be made, to be honest. Mission Impossible is a classic action franchise for sure. I love them all, except the second one isn't that great, but honestly, I think they're all had their moments, and some of them are really definers of the action genre for sure. The spy action, Tom Cruise just running around and looking like he's moving really fast, but he's really short. It's really funny to watch, but I enjoy it a lot. Good series through and through. And Despicable Me, yeah, they all have their moments, but really nothing spectacular to be honest. Funny, but they get old after a while. The Godzilla, I'm guessing this is the Godzilla series or the Legendary series. I like this series quite a bit, although er, Godzilla versus Kong Gorilla wasn't all that great, but the first two movies in the series are pretty fucking awesome. Ocean's 11 is definitely fun. I enjoy it a lot. Even the original Ocean's 11 from the 60s was really fun as well. Love it a lot. Paranormal Activity, just forgettable. Percy Jackson is just forgettable. Let's go through some more forgettable ones. Saw, it's really only, I really only like the first one to watch, and then it's been more of a derivative of, although there's definitely some great kills throughout the series. Lord of the Rings, we'll put that right here. All three movies are great, truly masterpieces. All three movies should have won Best Picture, like I said in one of my earlier videos. And it's just a shame what Amazon has done to Lord of the Rings since. Star Trek movie series is classic for sure. The J.J. Abrams movies really aren't that fantastic, but they still have their moments. But the classic originals are good, and I made several reviews of a lot of the older movies, and they're all pretty darn good. And were really surprising how good some of them were, despite um, learning of people in the past reviewing saying that or they're not good. I think a lot of the old Star Trek movies are really good, and a lot of the series that came out of it is fantastic. The whole franchise is great, even though it has gone downhill for sure. What originally was great with that original Star Trek crew in those first couple movies are truly fantastic and truly wonder of sci-fi movie making. Yeah, Twilight belongs down here. The Hangover has only truly one good one, the first one, to be honest. Scream, definitely more good than bad. I enjoy them for what they are, but I feel like they've degenerated quite a bit. Superman is a classic series, even though the third and the fourth one aren't good. It's a classic heroic story. Superman is an icon. Christopher Reeve was a great Superman. Henry Cavill has been a good Superman as well. But I think they're talking about the original Superman series, and the first two are truly classic films. Ghostbusters, not the biggest Ghostbusters fan. Maybe we'll put it right here. More good than bad, but the first one is truly fun. The second one has its moments, I suppose. I haven't seen the Afterlife, or there's the Frozen Empire coming out soon. I have not seen it, but I've heard it's supposed to look pretty darn good. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Batman. The Christopher Nolan series is great. I love it a lot. It's so enjoyable. So it's just really dark. It's a great spin on Batman. It's just a fun series overall. One of the truly great ones. It really put Christopher Nolan on the map, and I just love Christopher Nolan. A lot of his movies are fantastic, and this series is no exception. Even though the third is not the greatest in the world, all three are good through and through, to be honest. The original X Men, I think this original X Men series, we'll put that in classic. They're great. The first one, good. The second one, even better. The third one, kind of a letdown. And then the X Men series with James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. First one, good. Second one, even better. Third one is massively underrated. And the fourth one is just kind of a wet fart, to be honest. But still, all the X Men movies have their good moments, and it's just a good series. And I'm afraid of what Disney is going to do to the X Men. Don't think they're going to do a good job. I'm going to put Predator up there, up near the top, because the first one is an action masterpiece. The second one is totally misunderstood, but it's great as well. I love the Predator 2 with Danny Glover. The Predator in the urban jungle killing drug dealers. It's great. Then we have the one little bit that tries to connect Alien and Predator, and then basically without Predator 2, do you really ever get Alien versus Predator? I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, there was a big thing. People were surprised. I mean, there's a lot of normies that haven't read the comics, but if you watched Predator 2 and saw the alien connection, like, oh my gosh, predators hunt aliens. Oh my gosh, the movie could be fantastic if they make a series. And well, at least one of those movies in that series is good. Second one, not so much, but yeah, Predator 2, The Predator 2, Alien vs. Predator as a movie for series probably doesn't happen. Just my opinion, at least. Taken. I think it's good. It's a classic series. I mean, the first one is great and such a different performance for Liam Neeson that he's played the same character for a lot of his or recent movies over the last decade. Second one is kind of yeah, actually, we'll put him in only one truly great one because the first one is really good. The second one is just kind of all over the place, and the third is massively enjoyable, but not the most memorable one in the world. Pirates of the Caribbean, more good than bad, but I do enjoy the first one. I do enjoy the second one. The third one has its moments, but is really slow. The fourth one just kind of forgettable, and the fifth one is even more forgettable, to be honest. Really, you only need to watch the first three. This fourth and the fifth one are just kind of tag-ons to keep the franchise going, and probably won't see any more Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Thank God, because Johnny Depp supposedly doesn't want anything to do with him. I can't blame him after what Hollywood put him through. Poltergeist, the first one is good, but really not a big fan of the Poltergeist franchise overall. Friday the 13th, um, it's more good than bad because Jason as a character is really cool and has a lot of good kills, but a lot of his later movies aren't that great. But Jason X is really fun. A lot of the Friday the 13th movies have some really good kills, have some really good moments, but in terms of the movie department, the later ones are not so good. But the remake is really good. Toy Story, classic franchise to show your children for sure. Yes, some of them have aged really poorly, but you put Pixar on the map and it's good, even though the fourth one is really forgettable. The first three are great. Really brings you back to being a kid. And if you haven't seen, just go see it. They're on Disney right now. Show your kids; they'll enjoy them for sure. It's just a good classic franchise. RoboCop is awesome. The first one is awesome. The second one is awesome, but not as good. The third one is really weird and all over the place. There's that TV series that was really bad, but and then the remake that was forgettable. But the first couple movies with Peter Will are fantastic. So bloody, such great practical effects with the giant robot, and of course RoboCop himself. It's just awesome. Back to the Future, classic for sure. Even though the third one is really forgettable, it's still a great series overall, and it wraps up nicely. There's really no need to ever have a fourth one. The third one wrapped the series up so succinctly, and that there's really no need to make another one. Because then again, Hollywood would just wolkify it, so why bother making another one? Unless you just want to make money and trick your fans into watching it, which I would definitely not be one of those people because no thanks. No more woke, please. No more woke. Underworld is really fun action series. I enjoy it a lot. Definitely one to watch every Halloween. Um, I'm gonna put this one in more good than bad. I know most people just say the first one, but there's fun fights all throughout, even though the effects have aged poorly and the Michael Bayisms are just all over the place. It's just a fun series overall. Fun movie series just to turn your brain off and enjoy. To be honest, I have no shame for liking these movies. No shame at all. Star Wars, we're gonna put it up here. All time great, of course. Even though a lot of George Lucas' stuff came from Dune, the prequel series great. The original series fantastic. The Disney prequel series or sequel series is bad. And what Disney is doing to Star Wars now is just shameful and terrible. Please stop. But it's such a cinematic icon. There's really no way to be but right up there at the top. There's really no other place to be. Uh, Man, there's more good than bad. A great first movie, a genre-defining second one. The third one has its moments. The fourth one is just kind of the fifth one, and it's really gone downhill after the first two. The first two really are the only ones to watch. The third one has its moments though, and it's pretty fun. It's just again another movie series that is just like, why Hollywood you destroyed it beyond recognition. Just stop. No more Terminator, please. Resident Evil. There's really only one truly great one, and that's the second one. It's the closest to the video game series that brought that video game series to life. In the second one, the first one has its moments, and then they just go all out, and they do bring in more of the characters from the game later on, but it's just the writing is all over the place. The effects are fine, but it just gets so out of control. I wish Resident Evil just would have been made without Alice, to be honest. They could have made these movies really good if they just followed the games and tried to adapt them better, because they did a good job at adapting the second one pretty well, but it's just like Alice just feels out of place. Yeah, she's a classic heroine, I guess, but yeah, really nothing special. The Amazing Spider-Man series is just, yeah, that that's all I'll say. That's where it belongs. It, it it is better than some of these other ones. Probably put it in the best of the generic Hollywood trash, but yeah. Um, Classic. Reviewing these movies right now. Just reviewed the first one, so go check that out. The second one, going to be watching that soon, and the third one as well. Good. I love Sam Raimi, was a great choice for this. It was really campy, but that's how the comic books are. The comic books are really campy as well, and they're just fun. It's a reminder of what Marvel was before the MCU, and it was a good rendition of Spider-Man, true to the character. Although they made some mistakes with the second one, which I will go to in my review when I review that. Is this the classic Planet of the Apes franchise? Because honestly, more good than bad. Only one truly great one, but the other ones that follow have their moments for sure. The first one is still a masterpiece, to be honest, but the other ones that follow do have their moments, but they do trail off for sure as they get towards the end. Shrek, we'll put that more good than bad. I enjoy Shrek. The first one is really good. The second one is even better. A very forgettable third one. And the fourth one really brought the magic back and really ended the series in true light. Probably no need to ever make any more Shrek movies, but the series made a lot of money. Made Mike Myers a big star. Cameron Diaz as well. John Lithgow. And of course Eddie Murphy as well. Just fun movies through and through. Rise of the Planet of the Apes series is a classic for sure. I enjoy it a lot. I think they're really good. It's a really good story. I haven't. The fourth one hasn't come out yet, but it looks fun enough, I guess. But Andy Serkis is great as Caesar. Real again, the mocap is awesome. Good effects, even though James Franco should have been in the movie series throughout. But thanks Hollywood, you blackballed him for no reason. And yeah, I just enjoy these movies. And of course, Rocky, all time great for sure. First four movies are great. The fifth one is just a fucking pile of crap. The Rocky Balboa was fine. I don't think this necessarily includes Creed, but the Creed series is good overall. But that first one, when it won Best Picture, was truly deserved. Great movie, great inspirational story, and just a great movie series overall. And there are my list of some of the best movie franchises of all time. I'm sure if you watch this list all the way through, you'll probably have some questions that what am I thinking? Why'd you put this here? Why'd you put this there? And I'd love to talk about it in the comments below. So hit me up there at the comments below. Like, subscribe, share, just enjoy. All these franchises have their moments, but again, of course, the ones at the bottom are really forgettable or I just have no interest in whatsoever. But enjoy the list. Let me know what you think. Have a great day, and God bless.